Howdy lovelies, how are you all doing? Welcome back to our crafting, where we learn, grow and craft together. In this session of today's tips and tricks, I'm going to show you how to make your own tags. Sometimes it's quite expensive to buy tags, especially in bulk. Maybe you're just starting out and you want to try this for yourself. I'm going to show you a few tricks that you can apply and therefore make your own tags. I'm going to use some cardstock scraps that I had previously used. This one I used as a shim in my die cut machine. That's why it is arched or bent like this. And then I had cut out a few things. Now there are some odd-shaped scrap pieces here, and I want to show you not to throw these away, but to actually use it and make your own little tags. You don't need much. You can use a cutting board if you have one. If you don't have one, a cutting mat and a craft knife. I'm using a Stanley knife. Some people refer to it as a box cutter. I'm going to just trim this down as far as I possibly can. Try not to move your cardstock so that it doesn't slip. Use a metal ruler so that when your work do slip, you don't actually hurt yourself, which is very important. This one I didn't trim properly, so I'll just use my scissors to trim that little bit. This is now ready to go to a dustbin. However, if you are a junk journaler, you can cut this down and maybe use it as a little frame somewhere if you really want to be frugal. I'm going to go ahead and also trim this part. Again, just line it up with the lines and trim it as far back as you possibly can, and try not to get it to slip. This one, I cut it right at there, so it will slip. I expected that. So just grab it again with your ruler and trim the rest. If you're too scared, you can just then trim it with the scissors. Another rule of thumb is to add some cork at the bottom of your metal ruler. That way it will not slip. Now I've got a ruler somewhere here that's still got it, but I have the tendency to misplace things on my craft table. I just want to cut this little bit as well. Trim that off. Again, just make sure you line it up nicely so that you don't trim it skew. And there we have that part. Here I'm just going to trim this part. Not going to use that for tags. However, you can use it for smaller ones, but I will probably use this for tickets or something similar. The last one of my scrap pieces, and you can use any type of cardstock. You can use cereal boxes or any of those packaging material to make tags. I beg your pardon. I just want to grab these little things and put them to one side. There we go. So this one, what we're going to do, we've got those two sort of the same size. This one is quite a bit taller. We can trim it off with a pair of scissors. It will be a very slim one. Don't throw these away. You can use it. I'll show you in a next session in the series how to make bits and bobs. So you can use a punch if you have that, but I'm focusing on those that do not have the tools. So you can simply trim with the sides with a pair of scissors. So it will be very easy. Trim it as you like. Take this little piece that you just cut off at a slant, and then you can actually put it on the other side. Make sure it's flush. You can cut it off there. You can see this is quite a pointy tag. It's not a problem. If it bothers you, you can trim it down. You can keep this for a next time, or you can use a little gift card or an old credit card or so, and I'll show you in a second one. With a little ID card, I have used my ID card, so you can use a gift card, a old credit card, any of those, maybe a reward type like card. I have then cut down the four sides, some a little bit more acute than others, and you can use that over and over and over to actually cut your corners. Now, it's up to you. So this one, just make sure that the side and the top is then aligned. You can cut that off, flip it then over, and do the same step to this side. Make sure it is flush, hold it and cut it. If you don't want to go to the extent of making a card like this for yourself, you can simply do as I did in the first one. Cut the one side, flip it over, and then cut the other side. So there are two ways of doing that. Another way that you can do is to use an old tag that you already have. This one is used. Just give me a moment to look for another. You can use another card or a tag, I mean to say, and you can line it up on top of each other, and you can cut that part off. All of these ways are the exact same thing, just in a different manner. It's to make your own tags. And there you have it. You can keep these parts for yourself, or you can just cut it. Another way is, if you want to and you want something rounded, you can, however, take a glue stick around the corners. If you don't have a corner rounder, I want to show you that as well. I'm using a pen here, which is not working because I didn't click on it. Yeah, that sometimes helps if you can get the things to work like it should. Same thing there. And you can just then simply trim this off with your scissors. And there you have it. Then if you want to make a little hole in there to run through some string or lace or anything, use a singular punch. I use one of these hole punches, very inexpensive, and you can punch a hole in there. And there you have your little tags. I hope this was helpful and that you will not shy away from making your own when you need some, because you do not have the tools. All of this can be done with just a pair of scissors. It will just involve you doing a little bit more measuring. Let me quickly show you. I will take one of these strips that I have. I'm going to use a pen so that you can see. If you don't have a cutter, you can simply measure it to your liking. I'm just going to draw a line across. A little bit more effort, but not too much. You can then cut within this line so that you don't have that blue ink on there. I just used the ink so that you could see the line, and you can do the same thing. You can trim this off, flip that over. It was like this, so now we flip it over in the reverse. Make sure it's flush and trim off the side. And there you have it. Your own tag without using anything but a ruler, a pen, and a pair of scissors. Please give us a try. And if you want to start with paper crafting, look out for the various type of videos that's online to help you through the process of doing this in a simple way if you do not have the tools. When you start out, you don't want to have that expense of buying all the tools when you are just learning your way around paper crafting. So please try this, and I hope you enjoyed today's session and that you would want to see more content like this. Easy tips and tricks for you to do. And yes, I am focused on the very beginner. So for those others that are more established as paper crafters, you might not find something useful or learn something new. However, I appreciate you stopping by. If you would like to see more content like this, please give me a thumbs up. And of course, as always, I'll appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel so that we can grow and others can also see these tips and tricks. See you back soon. Goodbye.